way that I learned how to connect, how to grow, how to belong was on a little, small, very important place in Brooklyn, New York, known as a stoop. My friends growing up, we shared 13 nationalities. 13. Russian, Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican, Korean, Muslim, Jewish, Filipino, Palestinian, American, Lebanese, Greek, Polish, Irish. Do you see that stoop that we grew up on? It was 5 feet wide. We talked about anything that we wanted. We knew we weren't going to get bothered by our parents or our teachers or our girlfriends because they didn't exist. But the stoop was a place where we could connect, where we could feel safe. The only way that we're going to authentically connect with the person in front of us is if we feel safe to be ourselves. We have to feel safe to be ourselves. It wasn't always peaceful, don't get me wrong. We made fun of each other. But at the end of the day, we sat down on that stoop until the problem was solved. And the way that we did that, the way that we recognized that humanity in one another, was because we found our in. We found our connection point. People have to feel safe. Look, if I have a problem with somebody, if somebody has a problem with me, if we don't feel safe to have that conversation, the relationship dies. Does that make sense? The relationship ends. Maybe the other person runs away, maybe the other person leaves, maybe the other person just starts acting passive-aggressive. Kimberly really called it out in us, how much we have to do the work on ourselves first. Stop looking at others with bias. We don't have to be perfect to connect with people from other cultures. We just have to be willing to ask for forgiveness when we mess up. The problem is not saying something inappropriate. The problem is saying the same inappropriate thing 2 or 3 times in the same way. We live in a culture where we're so sensitive about offending anyone that we don't say anything, and all of our relationships remain quite superficial. Again, just talking about myself. Unless we feel safe. If we feel safe, wow. Then if a conflict arises, actually that conflict itself becomes the very source of deepening our relationship. Does that make sense? Then the conflict itself can be like going to the gym. Then the conflict itself can be like experiencing that life challenge that makes us stronger. We didn't ask for it, but as a result of it, we're stronger, and we can connect more deeply and more kindly to one another.